You saw the look, the tight grab, the wince, the slow walk toward the sideline, and in one silent instant, the whole day shifted. Pittsburgh left Acrisure Stadium with a 34-212 win over Cincinnati, but the headline everyone was whispering about on the way out was Aaron Rodgers' left wrist. Reuters. It didn't feel like a flawless victory. The offense had bright flashes. Rodgers had started hot, completing 9 of 15 for 116 yards and a touchdown before the injury. But the real story of the afternoon was how a team that's been scrappy all season learned to rescue itself when a star stumbles. Mason Rudolph stepped in and steadied the water. Efficient, focused, and exactly what you want when a veteran goes down. He finished the day 12 of 16 for 127 yards and a touchdown, and his calm kept Pittsburgh from wobbling. Reuters, here's the medical news that set everyone's phones buzzing. Initial x-rays and follow-ups showed a small fracture in Rodgers' non-throwing left wrist. Coach Mike Tomlin later confirmed it won't need surgery, and the team framed the issue as one of bracing, rehab, and day-to-day functionality rather than a season ender. That's a relief on paper. A fracture that doesn't require surgery is better than the alternative. But in practice, it's one more variable in a season that already feels brittle. NFL.com, when a quarterback in his 40s sustains something like this, you don't only worry about the bones, you worry about timing, confidence, and subtle compensations that creep into throws and reads. Rodgers himself downplayed panic, talking about rehab and testing, but football isn't played in doctors' offices. It's played under pressure and with defenders who don't care whether your wrist is only bruised or fractured. Still, there was encouraging news this week. Rodgers missed Wednesday's practice as he rested and rehabbed, then returned to the field Thursday as a limited participant, a step that at least keeps the possibility of him playing Sunday in the conversation. X, formerly Twitter, let's be honest about what this win covered up. Pittsburgh entered Sunday with more questions than answers on both sides of the ball. Statistically, they're not dominating in yardage or efficiency. They've been keeping games afloat the old-fashioned way: opportunistic defense, timely plays, and a knack for winning ugly. Sunday's 2 defensive touchdowns were textbook Steelers: chaotic, ferocious, and season-saving. If the offense can't find consistent rhythm, the team will keep living off those electric moments. And that's a dangerous long-term strategy. Behind the steel curtain, and the injury ripple goes beyond just Rodgers. Running back Jaylen Warren also left the game with an ankle issue and was limited in practice this week before being upgraded later. Linebacker Alex Highsmith was similarly limited after missing Wednesday's session. Those status changes matter because depth is a fragile thing, and the NFL's calendar will happily chew through it if you blink. The short-term good news: the medical staff seems to be moving things toward recovery and bracing rather than surgery, which opens the door for a functional return sooner rather than later. Behind the steel curtain. Now the practical chess moves. Pittsburgh heads to Soldier Field to face the Chicago Bears on Sunday, then must turn around and host Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in Week 13. That sequence doesn't forgive mistakes. If Rodgers can go, the Steelers get their veteran leader back under center, even if he's throwing with a brace. If he can't, Mason Rudolph will get his shot to prove he can shepherd this offense against tougher defenses on a short week. Either way, the team's margin for error has shrunk because long-term playoff math rewards balanced attack and health more than it rewards opportunistic defensive fireworks. Yahoo Theithau, here's the human part you don't see in the injury report. A veteran like Rodgers makes teammates feel steadier just by being there. When a quarterback's presence changes the mood in the huddle, his absence does the opposite. The team will now be tested not only on X's and O's, but on emotional leadership. Can the Steelers keep their composure if Rodgers plays under limited function? Can Rudolph build momentum if thrust into more than mop-up duty? Those are the questions that will define the next 2 weeks. So what should you take from this? 1. Celebrate the win. Defensive touchdowns don't come every week, and they won't stop getting you wins when they do. 2. Don't over-celebrate the toughness headline until the functional reality is clear. A fractured wrist that doesn't need surgery can still sap a quarterback's mobility and comfort. And 3, this season is a reminder that the NFL is brutally pragmatic. Availability and depth often matter more than narrative arcs. If you want a memorable image from Sunday, picture this: a veteran quarterback finishing the first half with poise, then walking to the locker room holding a wrist like it suddenly betrayed him. A backup jogging in, calm as a mortician, doing the invisible work of stability, and a defense that turned chaos into scoreboard gold. That mix, fragility, steadiness, and opportunism, is what the Steelers are right now. It's messy, it's resilient, and it's very, very real. Enjoy the win tonight. Watch practice reports tomorrow. If Rodgers takes the field in Chicago, he'll do it with a brace and with the kind of quiet resolve that's defined his career. If not, Mason Rudolph will get a deeper audition. Either way, the next 10 days will tell us whether this team's identity is one that can outlast injuries or whether the scoreboard has been fooling us all along.